Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. Before you ask me if I put on this shirt specifically for this video, the answer is yes. I love nothing if not a themed outfit, okay? So I decided that I kind of want to do plant tours quarterly, but I'm kind of pushing it on quarterly here because I did my last one in December. The reason I kind of want to do that is because when you have as many houseplants as I have, a lot changes. I get rid of a lot. I don't kill as many as I used to, but I do give a lot away. I brought a couple to a plant swap recently, and I, of course, have a shopping addiction, so I do buy plants a lot of the time. And I just think it's kind of fun to show you what's new and show you what's growing and kind of talk through it. And then, of course, the other side of that is that my friends and family are absolutely tired of hearing me talk about my plants. So by doing this sort of long vlog style, but just me talking endlessly kind of video about my plants, it kind of gets it all out of my system and saves them. So you can either opt to watch the video or to not watch the video. So today I'm just going to set up my phone on my little tripod because it's much easier than using my wide angle lens. And we're just going to kind of start over there by the door, and we're going to work our way this way. I think last time I counted I had 75 houseplants, but that is a rough estimation, so we're just gonna see what it's like. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so fun fact, I shot that intro in April, and it is now June. But I was waiting for some friends to arrive, and they're all here now, so we can actually do the tour. So we're just gonna start over here. This is gonna be a very, very chatty tour, I apologize. But this is my Marble Queen pothos. I love her. When I bought her, she was just a couple of leaves, and now she's this big pot, and she's got all these like crazy vines. And I actually purchased these little leaves. I don't know if you can see them, but they attach to the wall so that you can put the vines through it. And the nice thing is, like, they just pop open. So when I water her, because I never water any of my plants in their sort of cover pots, I take them out and I water them that way. I can unclip her from the wall. So as she grows, that's going to get more and more cumbersome. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Down here beside the Marble Queen pothos is my smoky quartz there, of course, but this is my Philodendron Splendid. I kind of didn't realize how big these plants get and how sort of big they get when they grow large, so when this plant starts to get big, I might have a problem. But until that day comes, it's just cute and little in the corner over here beside my aloe. If you watch this channel, you know that I have historically struggled to keep aloes alive. For me, I guess the answer is keeping it in a terracotta pot, because this one is thriving, it's alive. I accidentally did break one of the ends off once. I put this plant back in its pot thing, and I didn't realize that the aloe was kind of hanging over the side, and I just snapped it right off. But other than that, the aloe is doing great. Beside it here, Dot and Flick look after the isopods. So these are my powder blue isopods, and these are my powder orange isopods. I don't see any out right now. Do you? I don't think I see any. Yeah, but that's my two isopod cultures. And now we're going to go over here to Roger's tank. Now, I don't think I ever gave you guys a proper tour of Roger's new tank. My friend Alyssa came over, and we set this up on literally January 1st. Because this is a size bigger than the one he used to have. The one he used to have was, 12 by 12 by 18, and this one's 18 by 18 by 24 inches, so it's much larger. We'll just crack it open. So, what's going on in here? So, I have this baby tears plant in the front. I've tried to give Rogers a baby tears plant many times in his old tank, and I always killed them. In this tank, it's thriving. It was growing back, but then it kind of died because, okay, so when I put the snake plant in here, it was just this one and just this one. This is a brand new baby it put out all by itself. That I think is what killed the sort of baby tears going back with, like, its roots. And then I don't know that I can get you low enough, but there is another baby in the back there that it's put up. So the snake plant is absolutely thriving in here. This back here is the golden pothos from his old tank. And then this is a piece, like a new piece of pothos that I put in there. This up here, if you remember in his old tank, there was a piece of ZZ plant that I put in. I just kind of threw in and then it rooted by itself. So I put that back in here, and I've also put in a couple of ZZ plant leaves. And I know that they've all grown rhizomes and rooted, but none of them have put out, like, baby ZZ plants yet. So we're just going to see if that happens. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. There are isopods, springtails, and 1 millipede in here. So if nothing happens, I guess they'll eat them eventually. I've also put a couple of, what's this called? Begonia leaves in here lately, because I heard that they can, like, root from a leaf, like a piece of a leaf. I haven't seen that. Worst comes to worst, they will rot and just break down on their own. But until that day comes, these pieces of begonia are in here. Now, the alocasia that's in here is a really cool story, actually. I had bought this black velvet alocasia just for me to keep. And within like a day or so, the leaves got all droopy and it looked... Where'd the other leaf go? Oh, it's back here. The leaves got all droopy and it looked awful. And I cut the leaves off, just the bulbs, and like one of the corms was left in the soil. No like roots or anything either. So I threw them in here for the isopods to eat. And they rooted. So we have this one here. I don't think it's growing any more leaves yet. But then we also put out this one. And then this little tiny one over here. So these alocasias all sprouted from what I thought was going to be isopod food. So like we're just going to leave them in here. Why would I take them out, you know? I love that. In these little pods, these are actually for aquariums, I think, but I thought they were cute, so I put them in here. This is a piece of the micans from my big spiderweb trellis one that you'll notice is not in my room anymore because I overwatered it and it got root rot and died. But this was just a little tiny piece with just 2 or so baby leaves, and now it's this big, long, hangy, unwieldy thing that I have stuck to the bridge. And then in the other one is just another long piece of pothos. I had just a little piece with just a couple of leaves in there, and that is how it's grown so far. So this is the tank. There's the little leaf plastic thing that Roger loves so much in the back. A little terrarium thing with moss in it that I have literally never seen him go in. I'm hoping one day he does if he needs help shedding or whatever. He's on his little mushroom ledge all the time and on his bridge. The bridge is actually made for bird cages. So I have it stuck on the sides here with suction cups that are from the dollar store, honestly. This little frog thing that my friend Brittany bought me. And this is Roger's tank. I can feel the heat in there. It's quite hot. So while we're in here, we're just going to give it a spritz. I don't know where Roger is in here right now. He's got to be somewhere. My mom and my sister would be freaking out like, where is he? Where is he? But like, he's not going to escape. I could leave the door open and he's not going to escape. He's not a very smart guy. Up at the top here, we have I think this is a lemon lime dracaena that I bought from Walmart a year or 2 ago, and it was really tiny when I bought it, and now it's growing really good. I'm very proud of it. Moving over here, this is my propagation station. So this little thing here that stuck to the side of the tank has a piece of my Monstera Peru in it that I'm currently propagating. Keep your fingers crossed for that. I've tried to propagate the Monstera Peru 2 other times now, and both ones rotted, so we're really hoping that this works out. I have nothing in the other little pouch right now, honestly, because that one's in case of emergency, because it's kind of far back, so I can't reach it by myself. But I do still think it's cute. And then we have my propagation station over here with my 3 jars, and then I have this jar over here propagating some polka dot plants, because my polka dot plant kind of grew like really long and leggy, and I cut it back, but then like the bottom was ugly. So I just kept all the tops, and they're actually rooting up great. So if we look over here to the propagation station, you'll notice the first of some friends. So I have purchased many, many Ghibli figurines, and they're all kind of hidden throughout my plants. So over here by the water, of course, we've got Ponyo. So there's one Ponyo there, one Ponyo there, one Ponyo there, and then of course Sasuke right there holding his little boat. And then a Kodama over here in my milk confetti Syngonium. I do have another Syngonium that was there literally up until I think I moved it like 2 days ago, because this Syngonium was more expensive. So I wanted it to get the plant light more by itself. But yeah, so that's how that works. And then my crystal ball from Michaels and my other potion bottle from Michaels are just back there. I loved both of these until my sister said that the potion bottle in the back looks like a bong. Kind of ruined it for me. I guess we should maybe say up here, right? So in this little self-watering pot, this is a Pilea peperomioides right here. I bought this plant in this pot. This is not how this plant is supposed to look. If you have seen this plant, sometimes called the friendship plant, sometimes called the money plant, it doesn't look like that. But I like mine. I think it's weird. All the little leaves are growing straight up. There's so few of them. I don't know what to tell you. I think they're cool. And then beside it is my latest attempt, I guess you could say, at a Piper crocatum, however you say it. So it's this really cool, like, dark foliage with the pink sort of veinage going through it. I think it's beautiful. I think the reason I've killed it in the past is either because I kept it too moist or I let it dry out too much. I was having a hard time finding that sweet spot, and I feel like maybe I found it this time, but we'll have to see how it goes. I've had it since February or March, and it's put out 2 leaves in that time, so we're going to see how this goes. Up here with Cat Bus, we have my Cebu Blue Pothos. I really just wanted one of these, and I thought it looked cute with the trellis and the pot and cat bus, so I actually bought it, and it was just like one super long vine in a really big pot. So I took it out of the big pot, put it in a smaller pot, chopped the vine all up, and propagated it. You'll notice two pieces are still propagating over here, even though it's been months. They have not done anything. I don't understand why they're frozen in time. But this is my Cebu Blue Pothos. I think it's very cute. Beside it, in the back here with the hoop, that's my Hoya carnosa. I've had that for a very long time. If you watch this channel, you've probably seen it in all of my plant videos. I put it on this hoop, hoping that I could encourage growth. I don't know that I have, but we're just going to see what happens. Honestly, I've had this plant for multiple years now, and it hasn't done anything this whole time. Like, if I didn't know it wasn't fake, I might think it was fake. So we're just going to throw everything at it and see what sticks. In front of the Hoya here with Bo, the fat baby from Spirited Away. He's not a fat baby. I know that that's so mean, but I affectionately call him the fat baby because I love him so much. Play with me or I'll break your arm. That's my energy. He's got my Painted Lady Philodendron. That used to be sort of more in the front here, and I put it here because, honestly, I'm hoping that with the light there, it'll kind of make it curve back more because it's kind of really twisted right now. But I just think the Painted Lady in general is such a beautiful little plant. I don't know, I just really like the sort of pattern on the leaves and then the sort of peachy stem. I think it's cute. So this one right here, if you can see it kind of through other things with the like round leaves and this sort of weird situation going on up here, that's a Peperomia Hope. It looks horrific. If I were to get rid of a plant, it would be this one. I think I just have to give up on Peperomia. It just doesn't work for me, and I was told that the Peperomia Hope was a little bit easier. That has not been my experience. I don't know. I just can't make it happy. I kind of put it in this spot to die. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Above that, in this pot that I love, is my Neod Pig Syngonium. This plant was not this big and lush when I bought it. It has grown this way because I am incredible. It was in this spot where the milk Syngonium was, like I said, until about 2 days ago when I switched them, because the milk one is a little more expensive, a little harder to get, and I just felt like it should get the VIP treatment. But this plant is still beautiful, and I gave it Satsuki and May from Totoro. And then just in front of that is my other propagation thing with just a couple of cuttings in it, the Cebu Blue, a little Hoya cutting, that sort of thing, and my other Ponyo. She's there. Beside that is my umbrella plant. What's it called? Schefflera, that's what it's called. And you can't see it at all, but behind that is my Dracaena Janet Craig. The first plant I ever bought myself, and I put her in the back corner like she's in detention or something, but that's because she can take it. In the front here, I have my 3 Totoros, and then behind them, there's a moss agate, and then behind that is a little mushroom house. If you see these houses, I think I have 3 of them scattered throughout my plant collection. They're from Dollarama. I'm obsessed with them. They're incredible. I just think they're so cute. And I bought the 3 cutest ones, and then I never saw them there ever again. So, like, I'm so glad I bought them. Beside that is my Monstera Peru, and I gotta get closer because you gotta see this. So this is my Monstera Peru on this moon phase trellis that my sister made me. See, so I cut it right there. I had cut it previously as well, and it did not, those pieces did not live. But here in the pot, I've got Zaniba, not Yubaba, Zaniba, and Knitting No Face. I love the Knitting No Face so much. You can't even see it, but he's got a little thing of, there it is. He's got a little thing of knitting beside him that had fallen over and I didn't notice. I'm so sorry. But yeah, Knitting No Face is right there. I really am excited about that. And Zaniba, she's like a little surprise behind that leaf, of course. And then above her, this is my latest science experiment. This is my Philodendron Splendid. I cut it into pieces. I have 3 separate pieces in there. They're all big, luscious pieces. You can kind of see some of the growth points. It's on this, what do they call this, tree fern pole. I bought it from a website called Northern Geckos, and I just thought it looked like fun, maybe a little more manageable than a moss pole. And we're just going to see sort of like how this works out, you know? I don't know. We'll see. I'm hoping that they will grow into the pole or around the pole, because I really like dark velvety leaf philodendrons, and this Splendid is a really good one, and so far in my experience, a really easy one to grow, and it wasn't even that expensive, so here's hoping. In my little Haworthia at the front here, I've put Chihiro, because she's looking at Haku in my Dragon Scale Alocasia. This is the only Alocasia I have ever been able to keep alive. Like, this leaf looks like it's starting to go, but honestly, it put out this beautiful front leaf. I'm so proud of it. It's beautiful. And the Haku is worth a mention too, because most of my little Ghibli figures are from like AliExpress and Wish. And I was shook that I could not find a Haku. I was like so upset about it because they only had human form Haku, and who wants that? You want the dragon. And so my eldest sister came over one day for Mother's Day, I think, and she was like, I brought you a present. And she had 3D printed me this Haku and painted it so that he could be part of my collection. So I'm very grateful for that. That's why I bought the Chihiro, so that she can look at him. So yeah, that's my story about Haku. And now he's here, and I'm very happy about him and Chihiro being here together. And then above him and Chihiro is my Anthurium clarinervium, the only Anthurium in my collection, and I've given him the radish spirit. This Anthurium likes to give me a hard time. Look at how freaking weird the leaves are growing in. They're so aggressively pointing towards the window. That leaf is sideways. That leaf is hidden in the back. It's got new leaves coming in weird. I don't know what it wants. We're just going to let it vibe at this point. This is my Tradescantia Nanook. I recently propagated parts of this. This is the only time I've ever been able to keep this alive, and I actually bought this, if you remember, because I was trying a LECA experiment with the cuttings, and the LECA experiment failed. All the cuttings rotted, but for some reason the base plant started growing. I've never had that happen for me before, but they were getting really long and leggy, and they were sticking like straight out into my room, so I cut them off. So you're seeing these at a very short, weird time, and they've got the mouse with the little bird in their pot. And then beside them is a little tiny, I think it's been called the Pink Princess Marble, but it's just like a really tiny, ultra variegated version of the Pink Princess, and it's got the 3 heads from Spirited Away in it. But I'm having trouble with this plant. The leaves keep getting stuck. When I try to get them unstuck, they rip. Like, I straight up ripped this leaf in the back here, if you can see, in half. I was really frustrated about that. So, I don't know. It's very pretty, but it's really driving me nuts. And then this little mushroom. Behind that, we have just like your straight up sort of standard Pink Princess Philodendron. See, it's putting out a leaf there. That leaf also got stuck and I had to pry it out. This one, because it's bigger, like it's a little easier to help it when it gets stuck, but I don't know, it still drives me insane. Beside it is Kiki. Kiki's the only one I have 2 of because I had another Kiki and then I saw this one on AliExpress and it looked way better. If I wanted to glue her somewhere, I'd probably put her flying. But I don't want to glue her anywhere because what if I want her again someday, right? She's in the skeleton planter, which just literally has a golden pothos and an air plant in it. That's all that's in there because the planter itself is kind of hard work because I glued it together. So that means it's falling apart most of the time. But yeah, Kiki, and there's a Kodama in there as well, obviously. Lots of Kodamas in the plant collection. So now if we go back over here to hanging plants, this is my Oxalis. I've never had one before, and recently it started just dropping leaves like crazy, so like that's really great. I'm really happy about that. Love that. But it's cute, and I really like that it's not green, because it just kind of adds a little color and a little flavor to my plant collection, you know? Beside it, this is my Hoya curtisii, and I have a bunch of propagations from this plant in my prop packages because it just like it had grown so long and I had it wrapped around and like looped, and then one day I unlooped it all and it was like 5 strands of like 2 feet of Hoya curtisii. So I cut it off finally, I put it together and it's fine, and it has Turnip Head from Howl's. That's unfortunately the only Howl figure that I have. I would love to get like a mini of the castle itself, but we'll see what I can find someday. At least I have Turnip Head, you know, rather that than nothing. In this container here is my Monstera siltepecana. It's getting quite long. I'm going to have to cut it off again soon. I keep propping this plant and it just keeps growing. It's really fun. It's a really pretty Monstera. Look how pretty the little leaves are. You would never think it's a Monstera. You'd think it's like a Philodendron of sorts, but I don't know. I just think it's beautiful. I really like that one. This is my, what do they call this one? Burrow's Tail? I had to chop it over here recently because it was getting ugly, and then I recently put that propagation back in. Overall, I enjoy having this plant. I don't have very many succulents, so this one's fine. It's easy care. It's not like the stupid string of peas that I've killed a million times. This one has lived. We're okay. Beside it is my depressing string of hearts. It's only got like 4 strings, and they look like that. Well, I don't want to talk about it, okay? I love the planter, though. This planter, like, the plant should sit all the way in the cauldron, but I put something in there so that it doesn't, because I'm really just afraid of rotting it or something. Like, this cauldron little planter is so important to me. I think it's so freaking cute. It's me and Charlie. and I just love it so much. This here is my mystery plant because this is just, what is it, like a neon pothos pretty much, or like a lemon lime philodendron or something. I've had this for 2 years and it's hardly grown. I've repotted it a couple of times to check the roots. I've done a whole bunch of stuff. I've put it in different spots around the room. I don't know what it wants. It's unhappy with me in its life, and I don't know that I can save it at this point. It might just look like a fake plant forever because it just looks like this, but it is what it is. Behind it, how do I get you behind it? In that pink planter there, if I can zoom in, this is just a little cutting of a Micans. It only has a couple of little leaves there, so it's not too much to write home about, but it has rooted. It has, like, it is doing good, and it's one of the only Micans cuttings I think I have planted not in the gecko tank, so we're going to keep it around and just see what happens. And then beside it here, they sell this as a Hoya tricolor, but it's the Crimson Princess, if you're ever wondering. They're like the same thing. So the leaves grow in pink, and then the pink kind of fades a little bit. I just have it in this little pot because I quite like it, and I think it's cute. I forget to water it all the time. It's fine. Behind that, really not in the light at all like it should be, there is an air plant back there. It's like the oldest air plant that I own. There, so in the little cat head that looks like Lena, there's my air plant. But in front of it here is my Philodendron Brazil, another one of my oldest plants. The vines are getting quite long now. I had this one in the back here looped back around because it was hanging and I didn't want it to. So at some point I'm either going to have to chop it and prop it or put it in a bigger pot or something, but it's quite happy in its spot. I'm getting a lot of like just straight up light green leaves from it too, which I think is kind of cool. And then over here is my experiment. That is a staghorn fern in a very tiny pot. Most people mount staghorn ferns on wood or bark or something and put them on the wall. I have mine in a tiny pot, and I think it would be going better if I remembered to water. The last couple times I've tried to water it, or I've gone to water it, like remembered it existed, it was so dry, it had like pulled away from the pot. So, like, not the best. So this is my reminder to keep up with it. It's just in a tiny little macrame hanger that I bought at Michael's. In the back corner there, this is my, what do they call it? It looks kind of yellow because of the light, but I promise it's not yellow. Fishbone cactus, that's what it's called. And it's really interesting because it's growing a lot, but when they grow in, they just grow in like normal looking, like sort of scraggly things, and then as they grow out, they grow the sort of fishbone-ness, so it looks kind of silly. And something that is silly is that I actually did propagate a piece of it, and I put it in water for the longest time and let it grow roots, and then like the moment I put it in soil, it rotted. Naturally. So yeah, we're just gonna leave it now. I guess it's just hanging there. I know that this might seem like a weird spot for it, but because of where the window is, it gets a fair amount of direct morning light, so it's actually okay there. So now we're going to come back over here to this little table that I'm sure is only intended for one plant, but I have 4 on it. So my money tree in the back corner here, I was pretty convinced for a while there that this plant was dying. But really, I think what was happening was it was shedding a lot of its older leaves and sort of putting out new leaves that fit my environment better, because a lot of the original ones, like you can see this leaf here is still browning and falling off. They all kind of started to go at once, but then I waited a little bit, and it started to put out these chunky, brighter green ones. So we're actually good. My money tree is okay. I'm quite proud of it. Down here is my Stromanthia, another plant that I'm proud of. A lot of people struggle with calathea and that sort of thing, but I think because I'm an overwaterer and because I'm just like a mother hen and I'm here all the time, I'm better with those because I overwater them. So this Stromanthia I bought on a whim, I think a little over a year ago. I think it was around my birthday last year. And so far, so good. It hasn't grown a ton in that time, but I feel like it's always putting out new leaves, so I don't know. Overall, it's happy, it's fine, it's in this pink pot. Down here, little tiny air plant. And I think I only own the 3 air plants, so no more of those. But then this beside it here is my silver sword. It's just a couple of like cuttings from bigger plants in there. I really just gotta break off that money tree one, don't I? The one that's like intersecting, it looks awful. But my silver sword itself actually looks pretty good. I've put this little sort of plant support in it to help hold them up. Overall, I think it looks good. It's getting some nice bigger leaves on it as it's maturing. Someday it'll hopefully mature enough so that it gets that sword shape. But for now, it's just kind of silver and pretty, and it's getting a fair amount of light from this plant light, so, you know, we're okay. Beside it is my fiddly fig. Everyone thought my fiddly fig was dying, including me. And it wasn't. It came back from the dead, and I've moved it over here now because it's getting so tall that in its other spot it was starting to interfere with stuff. And I put it with Nausicaa and the Omu, and you can see little tiny Little tiny Teto right there. This was actually a kit that I had to put together and then paint. I've never done that before in my life. This was my first time, and I actually think it looks pretty good. Like Nausicaa, I think her face turned out pretty well. Her outfit turned out pretty well. Honestly, like, I'm quite proud of myself for that. So part of the reason she's front and center is because I'm proud of that. Something I'm not proud of, though, is this other Pilea peperomioides. This was actually a gift for my birthday from my best friend's sister, and so that's part of the reason that I am trying so hard to save it, because I really value who it came from. But I don't know, like, I'm just not meant to have one of these plants, I think. Like, I just do a really bad job with them. It just does not live very well, so maybe I'll bring it back, maybe I won't. Who knows? Moving on to the mushroom stool here. In the back corner, we have a crispy wavy fern. My friend Alyssa gave me that for my birthday with the cat planter that it's in that you can't see, unfortunately. But it is back there. You see this? Yeah, now you see this. So that's back there. And I totally forgot about this Hoya carrii. This little heart Hoya that's also behind there. It has been back there for a very long time and will continue to be back there for a very long time. It's fine. But yes, this is the crispy wavy fern. And beside the crispy wavy fern, hidden in the back here, is my LECA experiment with the spider plants that has actually worked out really well. These spider plants are all super rooted. They've all... I really need the squamiferum to get out of the way. There! So, see, they were just little babies when I put them in there. Now they've all rooted, they've all grown much bigger, and I've never kept a spider plant alive before. So this is my first time doing it justice, I guess. And so far, so good. It seems to like its LECA home. It's literally just in, like, a net pot. Like, there's, like, cuttings and stuff inside of the pot. In this LECA, in water. That's how I've done it. No wick, none of that. And I just top up the water every couple days. At the front here, this is my Domino peace lily. I had never owned a peace lily before. I had never really been interested in the sort of standard ones. But then I saw this cute variegated one at the plant store, and I thought I would try it. And so far, so good. This is one of the few plants that I did not change out the soil as soon as I got it, because the soil it was in was very dense and very wet. And it felt like it would retain a lot of moisture. And I know that peace lilies like to be wet, so I've kept it that way. The plant that I had to move out of the way here, that's got Baron from... what is it? Whisper of the Heart and the Cat Returns. This is a squamiferum, sometimes called fuzzy leaf petiole, because the petioles are fuzzy. I'm such a big fan of this plant. The first couple leaves it had, like, when I got it, some of them have fallen off by now, but they were kind of ugly. And now it's like, it just put out this leaf. Look how beautiful and shiny. It put out that leaf for me, that leaf. So it's grown a fair bit in the time that I got it. It seems really happy here, really healthy. If I had to... I was going to see if I had to keep one philodendron, this would be it, but that's a hard one. I don't know, actually, if that's true. It would be a very difficult choice for me, and this one would definitely be a contender, is what I'll say. Over here in the back corner, this sort of white and pink one is actually a calathea that I don't know what kind of calathea it is, but I did just buy it the other day, because I needed a plant for the back corner here that would be tall. That is the truth of it. And I know I'm good with calatheas, so I bought this one, and we'll just see what happens. This is an experiment plant. In a similar vein, down beside it is the, what's it called? Philodendron Mamei, M-A-M-E-I. It's this sort of silvery leaf one that you're seeing here and up here. I bought it because it was on sale, and it was cute, but I'm not really super invested in it, which is why it's kind of just shoved in there. We're going to see what happens with it and do our best. Over here, with the robot and the little other thing from Castle in the Sky, is my attempt at a Ficus shiveriana moonshine. I bought this little plant, and it had a bunch of leaves, and they all fell off except for the top one. But it does look like it's growing. That looks like a growth point. So we're going to hope that the gardener robot can help bring it back. I hope he can, because I would love for that one to grow nice and big and strong. Over here in the moon phase pot, we have my little rattlesnake calathea. The freaking other one is in the way. I'm so proud of this little rattlesnake calathea. It doesn't have any brown tips. It's beautiful. It's growing all the time. I finally made a calathea happy, and I feel like I should win an award for that. Down here, in this purple dollar store pot, this here, that was my dream plant. I bought it for myself for my birthday. It is the Hoya Carrii. I think this is the Albo Marginata, which means it's got the variegations on the outside. Now, when I got it, it was in a very tiny pot. Like, I'm talking like a 1-inch pot. It was falling over like crazy, so I did unfortunately have to repot it as soon as I got it. And then it lost 2 hearts. I was heartbroken that it lost these 2 hearts. You can see the sort of spot right there where it lost a heart. And then I think there was one higher up or something. Very sad about it, but since then, it's been okay. Nothing else has happened. Nothing positive has happened, but nothing negative has happened either. So we're just going to hopefully wait and see if it grows. In my little dollar store watering can here, this plant is called a seersucker plant. I don't remember what the sort of like more Latin name for it is. I bought it because I thought it was pretty. And so far it's been doing well here. It hasn't really grown a ton, but I like it. And it fits in that little watering can pot and, I don't know, fills in the space. It's cute. I have nothing else to say about that one other than it's cute. In the Bulbasaur down here, I just bought this Bulbasaur. This is another Ficus Shiveriana Moonshine. I just found this like tiny one before I had only seen like the big ones. And the tiny one, like weirdly enough, hasn't lost any leaves since I got it. But the other one lost all of them within like a day that I got them. So I don't know what the difference is. They're in almost the same spot. Like I have no idea what the difference is. We'll see what happens. Neither can live while the other survives, maybe. In this pot beside it is my nerve plant. I love a nerve plant. My polka dot plant was here until the other day when I chopped it all up. But I just think Photonia, that's what they're called. They're so pretty, they're so cute, and they're so underrated because, I don't know, they're so underrated, but they grow so weird. Like, they get these, like, long stems, and the stems grow fuzzy, and they grow weird. And I just like them. I don't know, man. This is my humidifier, which I have not had to run in a little while because it's humid AF in here. This is, I can't remember what it's called, actually, but they call it the strawberry begonia because I think it kind of looks like a strawberry plant. It hasn't done much since I bought it, and I've had it for a little while now, but it has put out a couple of new leaves, and I just thought it was interesting and cool, and it fit that little front pot there where my string of turtles used to be, but I finally rage quit it one day. Beside it here is, I'm sure it has a legit species name, but I just know it as Angel Wing Begonia. I bought it as a cutting at the Plant Expo, and so far so good. It gives me some trouble sometimes. It'll lose a leaf or whatever, but overall it's good. This is my child, my most expensive child. This is the Monstera Thai Constellation. This leaf that you're seeing in the middle here is the newest leaf it just put out. It is massive. I do not know why there are no fenestrations. It should have fenestrations, slits and holes and stuff, but it doesn't. Hopefully we get there someday, but this plant has been fairly easy for me to grow, I'll be honest with you. I knew going into it that they're prone to root rot, so I'm very specific to not overwater it. Like, that soil has to be dry before I touch it. And that's how I've been keeping that happy. In the back corner here that you can barely see in a cauldron, my tried and true, my bestie, my Maranta. Some people struggle with Maranta. I don't. As long as it's in this back corner, it's happy. I keep it watered. It is in a cauldron, but you can't see. I bought it with 2 leaves, and it's gotten huge now, and I've propagated it a million times. I just think it's so cute, and I like it so much. So that's my friend. And then in the back corner here that you can barely see, there is a snake plant. It has largely it probably needs a repot and root treatments and all of that because it was in my office when I worked at the radio station. Not my office. It was in the newsroom. And I don't know, then COVID happened and no one was in there for a year, and then I got laid off and it showed up at my house, and I don't know, it probably wasn't the best taken care of. I should probably give it some supports or something, but for now it's just kind of flopped over in the back there. Up on top here, this is a black pagoda lipstick plant. I bought it in a weirdly large pot. It was in too large of a pot. I potted it down when I got it home, and it has been doing magnificently in my care ever since. You can see all the sort of new growth and stuff that it's been putting out. I'm hoping I get flowers because they're, it's called a black lipstick plant because they allegedly look like lipstick. I don't know. I'll have to see for myself. I'm hoping it does because that would be so cool. But we'll see what happens. I keep wanting to call it a terrarium. It is a terrarium, but it is actually a cookie jar. This is a Begonia Amphioxus. I think they look so cool. It's in this cookie jar because I had it in a different actual terrarium that I bought at Michael's, and it outgrew it, so I bought this cookie jar from Dollarama. And this Amphioxus, it is so happy in this cookie jar. I actually took it out the other day for the first time in months, and like all of the nodes like that were out of soil had grown roots because the humidity in there is so high. So I cut it up a little bit and I repotted some, and yeah, I'm really happy with this begonia overall. I really like it. And then I almost forgot, in the back corner here, you can see it almost looks like part of the lipstick plant, but it's not. It's got like shingly action. What is it called? I can't remember what that one's called. I had to look it up because when I bought it at the store, it didn't have a label, and none of the employees knew what it was called. I'll put the name on the screen. I want to say pulchra something. It's very cool. I recently just propagated a piece of that too, so I would love to have like a big pot of that weird one someday. That would be fun. So this is all the plants in the main section. We just have a couple of little... Oh, wait. I forgot the Monstera. Do you guys remember when we cut up my Monstera? This is what's become of it now. It's been repotted into a big pot. All the cuttings have babies coming out. And hopefully we start to grow up. And then I can have just like fenestrations and have one of those big beautiful Monsteras that you see in the magazines. And I will have grown it from a tiny baby. But yes, I can't believe I almost forgot. Right here in the front, my Monstera deliciosa. This plant is usually facing the window, but I faced it forward for you because I knew you'd want to see it, and then I almost forgot about it. Lol. So now these are all the plants in the main sort of planty section. But now let's move to some of the small. Not to be dramatic, but I think this is like maybe one of my favorite areas in my whole room because it's just like it's so witchy, but like in a calm sort of like lo-fi chill way. So first we'll start with my Venus flytrap that's in the cloche here. I bought this cloche at HomeSense, and it was only like 20 bucks. And the Venus flytrap loves it. The Venus flytrap is so happy in there, and what happens is every Saturday, because I'm usually here all day, I just take the cloche off for an hour, 2 hours, and then I just put the cloche back on. And that seems to be all the sort of airing out that it needs. I pour in a little water to the soil, and then I let it drain for like just a couple seconds, and then I dump out the excess that sits in the bottom. And then whatever drains out after that, I just let it keep. And this is the life that my Venus flytrap lives now. I think it's taken me years and many, many dead Venus flytraps, but I think I finally made one happy. And this is my prop box. There's not a whole lot in there right now because most of them have come out and been potted and that sort of thing over time. But yeah, that's my prop box. The little coffin there. I took my Hoya linearis and I hung it up there. This basket is from Michael's, but it's in a pot in the basket. And we just hung it with like a heavy-duty 3M hook. I just think I really wanted a Hoya that could get near the light just to see how good it would grow and to see, honestly, if it would bloom. So that's why this is over here. And then we move over here to the ones that actually get the sort of all-star A-list treatment. Please ignore my dirty windowsill. Where's the camera? There it is. Ignore this. That's Lena's fault. So over here in the corner, we have my bear paw succulent. If you recall, I tried a bear paw succulent once before, and it died a horrible, miserable death. So I bought this one. And this one I've had for a couple months now, and it's really doing well. I water it maybe once every 2 weeks, and it's, by the end of that 2 weeks, it's like bone dry. The soil is hard. And it's really happy, and I'm really proud of it, and I really like it, but not as proud as I am of the one in the window box here, because that is my chamomile. I have tried to grow things from seed 700 million times, and every single time it has failed. Except for this chamomile. If I could buy one of these window boxes again, like if I go to the dollar store and I see them again, I will buy another one, first of all, because like I can't believe I just guessed, and it fits incredibly perfect, and it's just from Dollarama. But this chamomile, I'm hoping it keeps growing, I'm hoping I get the little flowers, but so far, so good. And then beside it is something else I'm very proud of. First of all, you can't even see what the cauldron says. Can you see it now? No. Hold on. Secondary lighting. You can kind of see it. The cauldron says herbs for spells, which I think is so cute. And this is a lavender plant. So I have purchased lavender, rosemary, all that sort of thing many times. And every time they die within a day. They start to turn gray. I don't know what I've done wrong, but they always die. This lavender in particular was in a very tall, very oblong-shaped pot when I bought it. And I immediately unpotted it into a pot that would fit this cauldron. And I was just like, whatever, it's going to die anyway. And I potted it up, and I put it in the window, and it has been 2 weeks now. And not only is it growing, but it's got a little bud at the top there, which means it's happy, it's thriving. I'm so proud of my little herbs for spells lavender there. We're just going to keep it going. We're going to see what happens. And then same with my chamomile. And just in general, I just love this area. I just think this little area is so freaking cute. I am so proud of it. As we move on to this side of my room and my desk, we are on the last couple of plants here. Let me just turn a light on. It's too dark over here. There we go. So this is my Dracaena twister that I've affectionately named Lucinda. If you know, she just lives on my desk over here because there's really no other room for her anywhere. And she's got some friends now. She's got a couple of mushrooms there that I bought at Dollarama, I think. And this snail that I bought at a local market that was made to be a plant thing. And there's actually another mushroom. I don't know if you can see it just on my desk here. It's just like on a chubby base, and it sort of matches the set, but I didn't have enough room in there for her. So that's Lucinda. She's still great. I water her when I remember to water her, and otherwise, that's how that goes. This is my asparagus fern in this little cauldron plant pot that my eldest sister 3D printed for me. I've always wanted an asparagus fern, but last time I had one, it died a quick, miserable death. This one I've had for a little while, and it actually seems to be doing well. Some of the leaves at the bottom of it are yellow. I think that's probably because it doesn't get enough light. But otherwise, I water it once a week. It's fine. And then beside it is my newest plant acquisition. This is just an English ivy. I've always wanted to have a really big ivy plant. I know they're invasive, so don't worry, I'm not planting it outside. But this is my little ivy, and it's just in this little bucket. But it's obviously in a pot in the bucket. So together, those are my little, on top of my computer, plants. They're on a little shelf that I bought from Wish. This Hoya over here in the mushroom pot, unfortunately, I think it's dying. I tried to save this Hoya 6 million times. I have unpotted it, I've repotted it, I've done so many things. So if this is the end of this Hoya, it's a Hoya lacinosa, by the way. If this is the end of this Hoya, I'm just going to let it happen. I'll just put a different plant here, because if it doesn't want to live, I'm not going to try to make it. But if it does die, what I'm going to put there instead is my pothos mandula. That's what this is called. And it's got, if you noticed, its little friend that it has is Laputa, the castle in the sky. And I bought this recently. I think it's very cute. I don't have much to say about it. I like it because the variegation is so different from the Marble Queen pothos. Beside it, we have an unexpected fave. All of the internet is all crazy about the Philodendron Florida Ghost, which is like the sort of white variegated version of this plant. This is just the Florida green, and honestly, I think it's really cute. It's putting out new leaves. I bought it from Canadian Tire. It was so cheap. And it lost a couple of really baby leaves when I first bought it, but now it's happy, and I just think the leaf shape is really weird. Like, I'm really a big fan of weird leaf shapes, and this is definitely one of them. And then the last one over here is another weird leaf shape. I don't know how to pronounce this plant name. Philodendron Mayoii? M-A-Y-O-I is how you spell it. And this is the newest leaf it put out right here in the middle. The one that's got lots of lobes on it. I think it's cool. I do think it's cool. And I gave it its own little corner over here with the little house and my crystals. And overall, like, this plant is probably going to get so big. I, of course, foresee it getting big, and, like, not upright big the way the Florida one is. I can see this one getting wide big, which I don't know what I'm going to do with it in that scenario. But in the interim, I think it's beautiful. So this is my plant collection, and more importantly, my Ghibli figures. This is the queen herself, hoarding my extra light. And, yeah, they're a lot of work, but when you work from home, it's a lot easier to manage a plant collection of this magnitude. And anyway, thank you so much for watching this houseplant tour. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Give this video a thumbs up. Comment, let me know down below if there were any plants of mine in particular that you liked, any plants in particular that you hated. I'm sure you have some thoughts, or let me know about your plants. Do you have any in particular that you're loving right now? Any that you have on a wish list? Just let me know what's up with you and your plant collection, and we can chat about it a little bit. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!